Okay, so tonight is a special call, and Tammy and I were discussing what should we talk about on Monday, and as we were doing our training, and then I think it was about almost a week ago. We says, you know what, we haven't heard our CEO Joe talking to the North American team, and it'll be wonderful to hear some of the things that he has to say. And we decided to do that in a format of an interview. As we all know, Joe has been instrumental in dealing with the adversity that we're dealing today, and it's actually incredible. I mean, I see him in action, and to deal with all of the stuff that's going on, and it's just amazing. And not only that, he's dealing with the challenges and the adversity of the economy and everything else, but we're still in the process of expanding. Joe Voyticky is a Harvard lawyer who actually was working for a company called Pepper Hamilton. And he was hired, and I knew he was going to share his story, but he was hired to, to verify the legitimacy of the company, and a company we're about to acquire with a product called Celgivity. And so it's a really interesting story how Joe decided to come on board. And along the years, Joe became very, very good friends with Tammy and I. We admire him, we love him, and we really appreciate this commitment and dedication, where we have an executives that's doing basically what associates are doing in the field, and training people, helping people, and kind of solving the problem on the corporate side in the same time. I've never seen a gentleman that's so busy in my life. Tammy, is there a few words you want to share before we get Joe up?
Yeah, I always like to share from my heart. As Chris says, we've been working with Joe for so many years. And the things that I personally love the most about Joe is not only is he a great leader, and we see him perform at every levels in every single boardroom or stage presence, but he's also a great student, and he really understands the field, which is really important as a CEO of a company, to understand what we go through in the field. So we wanted to ask him a few questions this evening based on our markets, because how many times have all of you been asked, what's going on in Canada? What's going on in the US? What's the potential? So we wanted to take the time tonight to ask him some questions, and while he's answering some of these questions, you may have a question yourself in regards to the marketplace. So maybe, Chris, we can open up to a couple questions.
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. We can make that interactive. So at this point, without any delay, I'd like to add our CEO, Joe Voyticky, on the call. Joe, we want to thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. And it's good to see everybody. See so many familiar faces that I haven't seen in person in quite some time, but always good to see you guys on a call or anywhere that we can get together, maybe back at Scott's house for some more lobster and blueberry pie.
That was fun.
It's
one of my favorite trips.
Yeah, it certainly was. The Maritime has always been a treat, and especially that special smoking barbecue, man. Makes everything tastes really, really, really good, especially those hamburgers. Oh my God, I could die. Now I'm just drooling thinking about it. So, Joe, listen, I thank you so much for taking the time. And I know you've done some calls this week, to support us, and I know you do some calls to support the team, and we really do appreciate that. And Joe, one of the things that I'd like for you to expand, I just kind of touch a little bit on your story. But this call is recorded, it'll be posted, and there might be some people that have never met you. There's new people coming in, new associates coming in, and for them to hear a little bit of your story on how did you come across Max International, and how did that transition for you to become an executive member to work for the company?
Well, I know, as you had said, it started when I was at Pepper Hamilton. I was working there as a transactional attorney, doing M&A deals or synthetic lease deals or credit facilities. And Max came to me to buy all of Dr. Nagasawa's technology. And so I had really very little interest in the company, from a personal standpoint. It was really just as a client. And so I had the opportunity to go through all of Dr. Nagasawa's science to, really examine and see, okay, is this a legitimate purchase by Max? Are they buying something that's worth purchasing? And so the team there at Pepper, and that consisted of a lot of PhDs in biology or chemistry to understand Dr. Nagasawa's science. They went through all of the studies and found that the studies were absolutely third-party legitimate, which was very different than a lot of companies. They certainly in the nutritional supplement area can do studies that are sort of, if you go through and look at the conflict section, you see that people are getting paid to do the study, or they're picking a study group that is, particularly low on something, and so they give them a supplement and it raises that thing that they're low on, by so many thousands of percent, and all this kind of stuff. But all of his studies were 100% legitimate. The science was incredibly impressive because it's around glutathione, and at that time I had no idea what glutathione was. But I'm a fairly quick study, learned how important glutathione is to every cell in our body, and realized that Max was buying something that was incredibly important to human health. And so, and that means everyone across the planet. And I think that as we have seen, as Max has gone now into, somewhere around 20 countries, this product and ribosine and Dr. Nagasawa's inventions are incredibly effective and important to everybody all around the world. And so the reason that I was attracted to the company to begin with was the fact that they were buying legitimate science. They had a scientist who was willing to put his products to the test, and that has proven out over time. At that time, there were about 22 studies back in that. It was about 2009, 2008, when we were doing the transaction. And now there are, in fact, 54 peer-reviewed published studies on ribosine, which is quite remarkable. It's probably one of the most heavily studied molecules as an individual active molecule that's out there. And these studies are simply remarkable when you look at the breadth of the studies, meaning that they have been tested on different conditions, all in an animal model, but across the globe with scientists from different continents, obviously different countries, studying totally different disease states, or what have you. And it's just quite impressive as the literature continues to grow and grow and grow. And one of the things that we certainly are looking forward to in the future is that with the scientific base that has been laid, we anticipate that there will be a number of human studies done. Now, that is something that gets people excited, but the fact are that animal model studies are outstanding because you can control animals right down to their genetics. So you can really get a good sense from a scientific base that this product is doing X or Y. And if you look at those studies, you'll see that, wow, all of us who made that decision to join Max because the quality of the products and the science behind them, the legitimacy of them, that I think has been proven out over the last 13 years. It is really quite remarkable what Dr. Nagasawa invented. And scientists around the world are now studying ribosine and are becoming more and more aware of ribosine as time moves on.
Yeah, this is, in fact, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but I heard that, the difference with the DNA or the genetics from a human being and a mouse is like 3%. Right.
I can't attest to the exact percentage, Chris, because as being an attorney, so I'll be very careful about my numbers. But if you say so, buddy.
Again, it's just I'm a bit of a science geek when it comes to certain things, and I just dig in for that. But at the end of the day, I can really appreciate it. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is I know folks often undermine the credibility that the scientific findings that they have when they do testings with, for example, the mouse and what they find as far as results. It's extremely helpful data, and sometimes
yeah. So when people are looking at scientific legitimacy, I think that that is really where, some people get confused. It's that, you can, when you have the ability to control as many variables as possible, you get a more meaningful result, right? If you and so when you do, you can't control humans, and all of us know when you try to
Correct.
control your children, what that's like, right? It's just about impossible to control them. So imagine getting a cohort of 60 to 100 people. You don't know whether they're taking the stuff when they're supposed to. You don't know if they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, which most people do. So it's very difficult to say whether this is going to be a good study or not, because you simply cannot control people. But when you do studies on animals, you can control them very much. One of the best examples of this is the Sally McCormick study done at the University of Otago, where she took rats that were genetically designed to develop atherosclerosis or heart disease. And, because mice do not develop heart disease, but they genetically program these mice to develop it, just like a human would. And so when that study was done, and she's done subsequent studies on ribosine and its effects in a mouse model on atherosclerosis, the results were quite stunning, and that led to the government in New Zealand being very interested in doing studies on humans because of her independent work on ribosine, and showing that it had a very, very positive effect in this animal model on atherosclerosis. So you're talking about something that is very precise, and the science that has been done on ribosine has been quite profound, and the results have been amazing. And it shows that Dr. Nagasawa and Max, we take the science very seriously. There's so much misinformation out there right now. I'm sure some of you guys are starting to see that people are starting to hear about glutathione, and now people have told me, oh, I'm taking this liposomal glutathione, and I'm like, okay, that's, do you recognize that there's very little scientific proof that product has any bioavailability? And they'll start to ask questions, but people are starting to get to know what glutathione is, and that is a very, very good thing for us, because there is no company in the world that has better science than Max, and no company in the world that has better products than Max. And there are certainly no companies in the world that have anywhere close to the legitimate scientific evidence that ribosine is effective and works. With 54 peer-reviewed published studies on the active ingredient, you're talking about a substantial amount of science, and we are way, way, way ahead of the rest of the world when it comes to glutathione enhancement.
Thank you. This is wonderful, Joe. And by the way, I wanted to thank you, everybody on Facebook Live. There's a group there from the Philippines and from all over the world actually joining us. So certainly appreciate you, and thank you for joining in. We love hearts. We love thumbs ups, and give us your feedback and comments, and hit that share button. Let everybody know. Share this information within your groups, because this call is an important call to establish credibility about our company and who is behind that company, running the company, so you understand the potential that you have in your hands. We're dealing in a very, very toxic environment today, and what we have to offer is something that most people do not know and do not realize. And that's why I tell often, stay the course, keep sharing, keep educating, and it will certainly serve your pocket as you build your network. So Joe, listen, the next question I'd like to ask you, Tammy, before I ask the next question, was there anything that you'd like to add?
No, I just get excited when I hear what we have in our hands, because I know for ourselves, we've been out there a lot, bringing a lot of value to the marketplace through festivals, through trade shows, through different types of events, and people are impressed and they want to try the product. So we just, at the end of the day, we just got to get out there more often, and belly to belly as well. It's time to get out there and start sharing with people.
Absolutely. And also I wanted to recognize Luz from Puerto Rico, who's always following our trainings and segments. So thank you for joining us. So Joe, the next question is, looking at Max International now, right? I remember when we first started, we went from 0 to 14 millions in sales, within 6 months of being in business, way at the beginning. I've seen Max expand and grow and, go in the Philippines and Australia and in New Zealand. And then he went to different parts of Asia. Then we started opening West Africa. Then we're in East Africa. And despite all the challenges that's going on, at the end of the day, we're still moving forward. We're still growing. And where do you see Max going tomorrow within the next 2 to 5 years?
I think, we're going to see an incredible expansion and growth in especially in the North American market. And there are a number of very interesting statistics that I would point to. The last couple of years, as you pointed out, were they've been tough years. They've been hard, and people are stressed out of their minds. I mean, this has not been fun. This has been a rough road, going from a pandemic to a ridiculous war in Europe, and so it's just people's stress levels are through the roof. Our lives have totally changed, right? We no longer, and people aren't going into the office anymore, right? Or and people are having a hard time going back. So you're talking about multiple layers of change that have gone on in a very condensed amount of time. And people don't like change that much. It's stressful, right? And it causes, as you guys all know, the production of free radicals, which is not a good thing. It's obviously a bad thing. And well, how do we deal with those free radicals? We deal with them obviously with glutathione, right? Most important antioxidant in your body. So you combine a 3-year stress test, which is fundamentally what we've all been through. We're all kind of tired of it, right? Combine that with the fact that there are now, somewhere around 78 million baby boomers in the US. If you add Canada, you probably get up over 85, 88 million. And there's a lot of people who are, now starting to get over 50 years old. And when you're over 50, and I'm looking at the crowd on this call, and a good number of us are in that category, stuff is not working as well as it used to, right? So, this is a natural aging process, the isolation that has taken place over the last few years, the stress, right? All of these things, it puts people under in a really not a great place. And so when you look at statistics and read about what people of our generation, and I'm talking about the over 50, the baby boomers, what are they worried about? Their number one concern is their health, even higher than their finances at this point, because we've all had it in our faces now for the last 3 years about you got to stay healthy. You got to stay healthy. If you don't stay healthy, there are significant consequences to that. And so if our people are now concerned about staying healthy, and they're concerned about lowering their stress levels, they're concerned about being active, right? Being able to do things. Getting older is fine because the alternative is death, but you don't want to old. People want to continue to be vibrant and do things and be able to get outside, be able to enjoy your kids, your grandkids, and be able to enjoy the outdoors. And so our products fit that narrative incredibly well, because if a person has reached the age where we all are talking about right now, they are likely to be dealing with something that is affecting them because of a low glutathione level, right? Glutathione is, low levels of glutathione are associated with about 75, 76 different disease states, right? So we're talking about a willing audience that is ready to listen. I think for the first time since I've been at Max, people are purchasing prevention, and they're purchasing it in earnest. They're looking for the answers. Those 80 million people, so many of them are now online and using the internet and looking for information. That is very good for us, because when people look for information, when people become educated consumers, they're going to want to know what's legitimate and what isn't. And so when you look at Max's history and you see study after study, year after year, independent researchers validating ribosine, that's really, really great for us. When you look at the high quality of our manufacturing, right? All the products are BSCG certified. Again, having an independent company come in to make sure that the products are being made at the highest quality with the highest level of ingredients with no banned substances. That's again pointing to the legitimacy with which we approach the market. We want to put in products that make a difference, products that are bioavailable and work, right? And we're addressing a huge, huge need. And then, of course, when you look at ribocystine.com, a website that we've developed for educational purposes to teach people about glutathione, all of these things are going to add up to an audience that says, wow, that is the product that I've been looking for. That's the product that I need. Okay, as they get more educated about glutathione, wow, the most important antioxidant in my body. Okay, let me try this, right? And then when people try Max's products, I think we all know, I have never had someone come up to me and say, that's garbage. What you gave me was terrible. I've been doing this now for 13 years. No one has ever said that to me. That stuff is terrible. That's very rare that, people always are thankful for the product. They may say sometimes, oh, I'm not sure I felt anything. And then we'll go into questioning and asking them, how steady were you in taking it? All of those types of things. But people will recognize the legitimate greatness of our products. They will see actual results. And when people see results from these things, they tend to stay and tend to want to keep using the products. So I think when we look at the demographics of where we're stepping into, and we look at the needs that people are having, I think that what we're going to be able to do in the U.S. is going to be incredible as we start to do more attention drivers, as we have more media campaigns, as we really start to push the educational platforms. I think that Max's products, they shine above everybody's that are out there right now. I unequivocally say that our supplements are the absolute best supplements in the world. We are always willing to put our products to a test against anyone's in the world in a direct head-to-head test. I've had that challenge out there. I don't know how many times I've said it. I haven't had a company that says, okay, let's go head-to-head against Max. It's probably pretty smart because we would beat them. But people will be getting to know just how great these products are. And we are going to be doing a full court press in the U.S. To raise awareness, raise education, and get people to understand how important glutathione levels are. And we're not going to be the best kept secret for much longer, I can tell you that.
That is absolutely brilliant. In fact, it makes me think of a story where our company sells two representatives to sell shoes. And one of these representatives end up in a country and they said, you know what, forget about it. Nobody's wearing shoes in this market. It's just not going to work. Where the other salesperson or the other rep turns around and same company, and he goes to the same country and he says, oh my God, just bring everything we got. Nobody has shoes over here. We're going to make a fortune, right? So at the end of the day, it's all about mindset. And sometimes people get into this mindset saying, this is not going to happen. This is going on in the economy, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, folks, we are dealing in an environment that is probably more toxic than it's ever been. More people are more and more and more and more informed and educated on the issues that are going on out there and the legitimacy of what it is you just talked about here, Joe, because the information has been around for over 15 years. And now it's going to start taking a life on its own. And so very important, folks. By the way, I've just put the ribocystine.com on the Facebook Live comment and also in a Zoom here. If you have not had an opportunity to click on that link, go ahead and do that. It is really, really credible. And it shows, again, the base foundation of credibility that our science bring with our precursors, which is the ribosine that is in some of our products at Max International. And Joanne, I know you talked about this, but I really want the North Americans to really see the potential here. They really need to understand this.
Well, think
And
about it.
yeah,
Think
go ahead.
about, well, it really boils down to doing an analysis of the numbers, right? If you just look at how many of us know 50-year-olds who have absolutely no health issues? They're like, I feel exactly the same as I did when I was 28 years old. You know one. Okay, Olga, that's fantastic. That person is probably taking ribosine in earnest. Like me, I take it so much, right? But it's like people are dealing with issues, and if you have a solution for them and it's the best solution in the marketplace, that's a very good thing to be selling. That's a great thing to be selling, because all we have to do is help them to understand that we have something that they really, really need. See, Olga just said her mom is, but she's 78 and yes, on product for 6 years. That's fantastic. There's the perfect testimonial. 78 years old, wants to remain healthy, wants to remain active, taking our products for 6 years. Perfect. We have 80 million people like that are out there right now. One other statistic, you know that the baby boom generation is going to be transferring the largest amount of wealth in the history of the planet? Mm-hmm. So not only do these people have issues like, that are normal associated with aging, they have money to spend on these issues, right? So you've got two really important things: a huge group of people that have a very critical need, and they have the money to spend on it. Okay, what else do we need to do? What we need to do is reach them and educate them, because there's a lot, the one difficult thing about our market in the US and Canada is that there's so much noise. There's so much noise, and there's so much noise about products that are terrible for you, right? Those energy drinks, oh my Lord, and they sell so much of that stuff, and they're terrible. They have very bad health effects. So that's an example where if those things are in every store, every convenience store, and people are buying them, why are they buying them? They can get the energy they need from Max ATP, which is a healthy energy drink, legitimately healthy, because it's got our patented technology, ribosine, which helps you generate glutathione, which cleans up the free radicals that are produced from excess energy production. No other energy drink on the planet can make that claim. This is what we're talking about. We've got something that's better than the competition. It's priced at the same price level as the competition. When you look at what those things cost, one sleeve of ATP is the same price, if not a little cheaper, right? So we're priced in the right place with people that can afford it and people that need it. That gets me really excited about the potential. And they're finally ready to hear our message. They know from all of this stuff with COVID how important it is to prevent disease from coming. You have to stay healthy, right? So now we're talking about a willing audience with a willing ear, with information. They're all getting on the internet. It's something like 60% of the baby boomers now are on the internet. All we have to do is reach them with our messaging. Reach out to them in your Facebook groups. Reach out to them, on Instagram or LinkedIn. There's so many ways now to connect to people, and the market is so big. It's so huge. That to me is, a lot of blue ocean territory right there. And we have to go get it. We have to be active about it. We have to tell people our stories. We have to share the things that we have, and get them to try the products and follow up with them. Show that we are legitimately interested in meeting their needs. Because if you do that, if you meet a customer's needs, if you show them that you're caring about their health, which is their number one concern statistically, I know that people who put the effort into this and are consistent are going to be very, very successful. But you have to be consistent. You have to engage. You have to get up and have that enthusiasm to get out there and reach out. There was a when I was an attorney, and I was representing a couple of physicians, and one of the heart surgeons said to me, and because he was talking to us about it, he was the lead surgeon in his group, and he took all the younger surgeons out, and they were asking him how do you build a practice, and because it's so difficult these days for, believe it or not, they're saying so difficult for heart surgeons. All the HMOs have come in and we can't make any money. And he looked at them and he said, if the dollars aren't coming to you, you gotta go to the dollars. You know, all sitting there like, but it's the truth. You have to go get it, is what he was saying. You have to, the environment is changing. You have to go and find your success. It's not just going to come to you and be handed to you on a silver platter. You know, the things that have been handed to us are, we've got the best products. We've got the best science. It's all provable. We have a huge market that needs what we have. So now it's upon us to go get it. Go get it done. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out how to make those messages. Let's reach out and keep reaching out until we find what works, what resonates. Let's follow up. Let's be diligent about making sure we understand the needs of our customers. All of those things lead to really big success, but you have to be persistent. I watch Chris and Tammy go. They never stop. They work harder than I work, and that's saying a lot. Let me tell you, that's saying a lot. Those guys work relentlessly. They never stop. And that's why they're so successful. If we all adopt that attitude, that mindset of continuous work and continuously trying to improve, there's no question we have all the elements we need to be absolutely humongous as an organization. But it's up to each of us as individuals as to what we're willing to put in. And are we willing to get up and grind and grind and grind and share those messages and take those testimonials and keep working. That's what's going to make the difference for each of us.
Joe, I'm so glad you touched on that, because that is the foundation to success in anything in life, to be honest with you, not just network marketing. You got to be persistent, and you got to have grit, and you got to be consistent in your activities and following through with the things that you do when you start. And that, I mean, Joe, you said it really, really well there. And folks, this is the secret. There's no secret. The difference between the successful entrepreneur in network marketing and the rest that are just hounding and trying, it's that consistency. And, in fact, Olga came a couple of days ago at our house and we were just talking, and I want to bring out that segment. I says, you know what happened? If you compare a business to something that everybody can understand, let's say you happen to be a trader, okay? And every day you trade. Okay. And what happened is you win a little bit, lose, win, lose. And then suddenly there's a big win, and that made for your entire year. And then it starts again, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. And that's what happens in this business with network marketing. Same thing. You prospect. They come and go. And because you stayed the course, eventually you come around someone that just explode. But if you took a break and you stopped and you completely walked away, then when that person came around your life, it passed right by you and you missed it. And then you're starting again, and then start, break, start, stop, and you missed that one person or those three people. And life is like this. That's why all the time, stay the course. Keep moving forward, follow through, because this business is important. But not only it's important, it provides a service. I like the comment you put here, Mireille, it solves a real problem for the many. You maybe not write it that way, but I know that's what you meant. And I use that in my presentation all the time. How are the millionaires or even the billionaires today created? They solve a common problem for the many. What does Max International provides that solves as a common problem? Let's think about this. But the difference between the have and the have not are the people that will stay the course. So, Joe, I really appreciate the feedback. And the last thing I'd like you to touch on is the upcoming medical symposium, because I know that this is something that most people they'll attend, but they don't realize the importance of establishing that credibility to be able to build that business over and above. Do you want to touch on the medical symposium and anything you feel would be important for the team, the listeners on either Facebook Live or is it listen tomorrow or anybody here on Zoom? What are your thoughts in reference to the medical symposium that is coming up in September 1st?
Well, it's incredibly important because it establishes again our credibility, right? Our legitimacy, and it separates us from the rest of the marketplace. How many companies do that? Sit down with a scientist like Scott Nagasawa and talk about why we formulated these products the way we did. They didn't just stick things into the product. That the ingredients were selected specifically for a very good scientific reason. Something that it's not maybe it's not the latest fad ingredient, right? One day ribosine will be that bad, so I don't want to jinx that. But these things were formulated to work with your antioxidant defense system. We put the most important ingredients into the product, and you will see just how detailed Dr. Nagasawa and his team were in formulating these products. And that's important because the audience and the general public needs to know that not all supplements are created equal, right? We've made these products to be effective, and we take the ingredient quality and their formulation very seriously because we want to deliver on what we promise. When you're talking about the health of North Americans, the statistics I've seen are that 60% of people, of adults age 50 to 64, suffer from a chronic condition, right? 60%. That is serious. Those are big, big numbers. 50% have high blood pressure. Think about that. So you're talking 2 in 5 are obese. I mean, so this population that we are trying to reach has some very significant needs. 40% of them are suffering from some form of cardiovascular disease, right? The people are dealing with stuff. And if they're looking now to alternatives, right? If they're looking for supplements to help them stay healthy, they need to know that we don't take that lightly, that we're manufacturing our products at the absolute highest grade so that they are legitimately bioavailable and helping your cells to get healthy, right? That is as important as anything, because that's the foundation that when people, really come back to it, is that I want to have a product that works. I want to have a product that, if I pay money for it, I want to get value for money, and people need to know that, when we manufacture our products, when we source our ingredients, we do so with the intent of making the very best product possible. Not everybody is doing that, so our purpose, our intent is to make the best product, and we hope that the best product will then sell because it's effective. Some people will just make the best marketing so that we can sell a product. We don't give a real hoot about whether the ingredients are sourced properly or how they're processed or how they're eventually manufactured. All we're talking about is, tell a great story and get people to believe something that may or may not be true. We take the other approach. Make a great product. Let's show people why it's important. Let's put the best ingredients. Let's source them from the right people, because all of these things, every single ingredient the quality of it can change from one company to the next. And so it goes all the way back to how that ingredient is sourced and grown and processed, right? All of those things matter in the supply chain for whether you're getting quality ingredients or whether you're getting stuff that you really not going to do you any good. So when we put ourselves out there in these type of symposiums, we're trying to explain and educate people about that process and just how seriously we take it.
I love it.
Absolutely
love it.
And as I always say, we bring hope to the world through our company, through our products. And we all have such powerful stories, and we're not hype, and people can read people very, very well. And when we start telling our stories and it comes from our hearts, people listen. So I think what Joe says is we just need to be louder out there and just go out there and share our hearts and our stories and how much we want to make an impact in the world and all the people that are suffering and silently suffering. We all know that people are silently suffering with issues, with finances, with all of that. So it's up to us to go out there and just speak loud and talk to people as often as you can. And always have that mindset of one more, one more, one more. You do one more, you get excited. You get more energy. You do another one, you get excited, you get more energy. Next thing you know, you got an organization that's thriving with the same mindset, the same passion, the same posture. So I think that we have something really, really big here. I know we have something really, really big here. As a matter of fact, Chris and I did a Zoom presentation with a friend of ours that we haven't talked since 2009. We had just launched I believe it was a Max 1 at the time, Chris, and we went to visit his family. He moved from Mexico to Ottawa, Canada, brought his kids. We got talking about family, his career, and he was so open to look at this. So we sent him, of course, the information, and he just said to us, "Oh my gosh, you guys look so amazing." He couldn't believe how great
Because you guys look so young. You don't
Yeah.
age.
Yeah. So
Well,
that
that's right.
alone, plus, knowing that we're still here and we're still passionate about what we're bringing to the market, and we're finally going to his country, and he's very passionate about helping people in his country. So we just got to get out there and connect with people, old friends, start writing a list again. If you've written a list, go back and start writing a list again and get back to the people that you've connected with, start developing some new relationships. I just joined a women's professional network group where we have breakout rooms where we get to share with each other why we're passionate about what we do as entrepreneurs. And you got to get out there. You got to invest in yourself. You got to invest time into this. If you want results in our business, you have to invest in that. You have to take the time. I get that some of you are probably saying, "Oh yeah, it's easy for you and Chris. This is all you do." But at one point, this wasn't all that we did. We both had careers at one point when we joined network marketing, and we took the time to build a home-based business. And then Max International, the perfect company, had come into our lap back in 2006. It was December that we heard about it. No, it was closer to January. And then next thing you know, the company launched in February, and we've been thriving ever since. So I know that
we resigned from the previous company officially. We walked away. We sent a letter, three letters, see you and all this stuff, and we went full speed with Max International. And we told the world, and we've never stopped running since then. Sorry, Tammy.
There was no science, Chris. There was no backed science in our previous company.
Yeah.
So we knew what we had in our hands and what we were taking to the world. So, when you get really passionate about something, people feel it. And if you can make a difference, there's one thing that Joe said that was really, really important. It's the relationships that we build along the way. We're not just selling products. We are helping people improve their quality of life so they have more time with their families and their grandbabies and all of that stuff. And to build a legacy of significant change is what we are all doing. And this is so, so, so important. So when you're passionate about it, people will listen. They really will.
I totally agree, Tammy. And folks, I posted here the blog link. Register. Don't wait till the last hour of the last minute of the day to register. Just register. Tell everybody to register. And you know what? You may see your organization grow and flourish. So the thing is, I stated, you can't be a secret agent in this business. You got to let the world know you exist, and you have to be bold, and you have to be consistent in telling people about it. Really, really, really important. So as we end on this call here, if there's anybody who has some questions that are relevant to the information we're sharing here today, feel free to post them here. Joe, is there any last thought that you'd like to leave with the team, as we end this call?
Just engage. It's time. We've got a willing audience. We've got great products. We're going to be pushing a lot now. I think it's really is the perfect time for North American marketplace. I can't think of a time that has been more receptive to the things that we have to offer. And so it's up to us to reach out and share with people. And I think you're going to find a very, very receptive audience. The attitude about prevention has changed. It is very much accepted. People are looking for alternatives, and we have the best one. And so I'm really excited about what's going to be coming up. I'm really thankful for you guys because you guys have been with us for so long. Really appreciate all of the efforts that you have done over the years. It's been a tremendous amount of fun. I really enjoy working with all of you guys, and I really look forward to working with you guys moving forward.
Yeah, it's wonderful, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tammy, for sharing. And folks, one thing I'd like to leave you with, I had a three-way call or a three-way Zoom session with Joe and one of our leaders in Mexico. As we are, some of you are aware, we're expanding in this market soon. And one of the things that she said with her husband, or it was in the conversation and she lit up, is Max International is a home. It is a home. You do not need to look for another opportunity. If you take care of the people around you, take care of your organization, maintain the relationship and keep the relationship strong with your organization, keep people informed and educated, despite the adversity sometimes we go through, stay the course. I'm telling you, that is very, very attractive, especially to a professional networker, knowing that it is a home. And Joe, that's the reason why we are here. And we're here for the rest of our lives. It is a home that we've built from scratch. And I absolutely love our home. And we appreciate you, Joe, so much for the commitment that you have. And I'm telling you, I can just see, I can taste, that consolidation is coming to an end. And now we're getting into some new momentum. And folks, as Joe stated earlier, it's not going to happen by wishing it or praying for it. God, often I mentioned this and a few times, never gives you a challenge that you can't handle. And these challenges are there for you to evolve and to grow. And you don't want to sit back and wait. It will not serve you well. You have to go and get it. And the challenges that you're facing are an opportunity for you to evolve and improve, to become a better person that you were yesterday. This is what Tammy and I have. And I know, Joe, you can probably speak the same. That is the environment that this business has created for us. And I know for many of you. So congratulations to all of you here. And I just also wanted to recognize Myra-Paul Charbonneau, who has just went absolutely nuts, start presenting multiple times a day, every day, in many of her groups. And I know that things are starting to grow for you. Congratulations, Myra-Paul. Very, very well. And also, Erica, it's your influence that has started these trade shows, and you keep your radar open and all these trade shows. I keep hearing Tammy. And again, thank you for that. And thank you, Jasmine, for your commitment. And many of you, Janet, and I know I'm not mentioning everybody here. I know that some of the trade shows we did, Bill and Linda were part of it. Guys, listen, really appreciate you. Stay the course. Keep moving forward. Thank you, Sylvie, for accepting to be part of the, maybe even in short notice, to be part of a virtual presentation in French or in English, folks. And we're so grateful for, if I don't mention your name, folks, trust me, Mireille, you were there also. And I know, Lucy, you're constantly hounding out there. Lucy, nonstop, always out there, always supporting, always helping, and I think I pretty much, Beth and Chuck and Beth, I mean, you guys are evolving. We're seeing you transforming, before our eyes. I mean, you may not realize, but we pay attention. Barbara Ann and Paul Gagnon did a beautiful barbecue. We had a great time. It was fun. And also at the end of the day, folks, stay the course. If you happen to be here on Facebook Live, all of you in the Philippines, I know you had a celebration. Some of you are part of the MLMR. Stay the course. Keep sharing. Keep pushing. Do not stop. And I'm telling you, it will serve you well. So, Joe, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And thank you, everybody, for attending today. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye,
See you
guys.
guys.